All right, folks, we're going to get started. I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight to our town hall. My name is Benjamin Kossel. I'm one of the public information officers with the PAC Fire Incident Management Team. Before we get started with the official presentation, I'd like to take a minute to offer a sincere thank you to the Church on the Mountain for allowing us to be here. So, Church of the Mountain, I cannot thank you enough. Thank you much so for allowing us to be here. I also would like to thank all of our local partners who assisted the Forest Service, CAL FIRE on that initial attack. We wouldn't have been able to do this without you guys. So a huge thank you to all of our local supporters. I've already asked everybody to please go ahead and put your cell phones on vibrate. We had a few administrative things to take care of. In the event that there is an emergency, there is an exit behind me, and then there's also the way you came in. The bathrooms are down the hall. Make a right, make a left. We are taking all of the questions on the QA, on the 3x5 cards. We'll be answering all the questions after that. And for my folks online, due to our limited staff, we will not be able to answer questions online. But if you have questions, please take them and call the fire information line. For everybody ready to copy, that number is 209 916 5919. All right. When you first came in, you probably saw the fact sheet. This was from this morning. I have updated information to provide you. The number of acres has not changed. It's still 3,000 acres. Our containment is at 56%. At this point, we have confirmed 30 structures destroyed. 5 have been damaged. We have 795 personnel assigned to the incident. And we expect full containment on November 21st. With that, I'd like to present Brandon Wilson, one of our operations section chief, to give you an operations presentation. Brandon, if you come up.
Good evening. So far, our resources have been able to keep the fire within its current footprint. Our crews are out there working very hard for this community. They have been widening and improving our fire line around the entire perimeter of the fire. Today, we have focused on McGee Creek, and one of the hazards in there today was a bunch of the snags or damaged trees that are hazardous. So we had crews out there mitigating all of those hazards. Our engine companies have been in that creek mopping up all day. Additionally, around the homes, our resources have been mopping up and making sure that all of the hot spots in and around the homes have been mitigated. And we have been working day and night, make sure that you guys can get back to your homes as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. Next, I'd like to bring up our fire behavior analyst, Alex Geary.
Good evening, everyone. Just wanted to give a minor update on the fire behavior and the weather that's going on across the fire area. Got to get out this afternoon and take a good look at anything and pretty much saw zero to minimal fire behavior across the entire incident. As the operations chief stated, in McGee Creek, there is some larger fuels. There's some big trees that have fallen due to the fire. Those still may hold some heat in them, and there may be some visible smoke in the coming days as crews get in to extinguish them, but they're thousands of feet from the edge of the fire and don't pose a threat of any spot fires or escape from those. The biggest factor that's been helping us out the past couple of days has been the weather. Obviously, outside it's raining right now. And in conjunction with the National Weather Service office in Reno, been getting regular updates every 6 to 8 hours on the continued weather. So the storm we've got today is going to continue through the evening into tomorrow. And then we're also anticipating more precipitation and some snow to come in Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then there's a possibility even further into the week on Friday and Saturday, there could be another storm behind that to bring more wetting rain or snow to the area, which is going to greatly help to assist any final suppression of the fire that needs to occur. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Next, I'd like to bring up our Mono County Emergency Manager, Chris Mokersic.
No, good enough. All right, thank you. Emergency management's role is really just kicking off right now. We've been involved with the incident management, assisting them, but now it's time to turn to recovery. I know everybody wants to get back into their homes. They want the evacuation orders lift here. Want to know what's going to happen now? What do I do next? How do we assist you in that recovery? We finished our damage assessment this afternoon. It has been submitted to Cal OES, the Office of Emergency Services. They are evaluating it. I am submitting a request to the governor for an emergency declaration that will free up state funds to assist with tree removal and clearing up so that the into plan on building back at that location or whatever that needs to be done. This week, we will be pushing out information to the residents as well as establishing a local assistance center at the Crowley Lake Community Center on Friday. We will have state representatives, insurance representatives, all the county resources so that you can go from station to station, ask questions, get assistance, all of the different departments. It's very important that we expedite this. Number one, it's wintertime and, you know, we have snow to deal with. So we don't want this to drag on. That's where we would expect your frustration to rise. So you need to hold me accountable forward, process, everything going forward. Sure you'll have other questions and write them down on the cards and I'll back up. Is there any specific questions after that? But just know that it's a priority for us to get you back into your home. Now we're living in a normal, different than. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Next, I'd like to bring up Long Valley Fire Chief Scott McGuire.
If in this room, right, you're a member of this community or you're what you guys haven't seen the last several days is down in Bishop, the hundreds of people that have been up here fighting this fire. Leadership has been down there. And the very first meeting we had, first thing they said is it was a unified command. It wasn't Forest Service, it wasn't CAL FIRE. Everyone has come together to try and do their best to support this. You're gonna see a lot of those next few days. Look around this room and you look around your neighbors, it's gonna be a time for us. You're gonna get a lot of tactical stuff about what's the next couple weeks or couple months is gonna look like. A lot of questions. But I will tell you that probably the hardest thing for some of us is driving to go to work, going past a burn scar, or going in to pick up what's left of their house. I think it's going to be really important for all of us to each other, lean on each other, know that there's going to be times when you're going to laugh when you don't expect to laugh, and times you're going to cry when you don't expect to cry. The fire department is here to support you, not just with 911 calls, but look to us and lean on us if you guys need anything, help you coordinate. Those of you that were around last night, Paul Zaspel is our chaplain, Pastor Mike here, sources for you. I'm impressed and amazed by how many people showed up quickly. Without going into too many details of the fire, we went up Canyon. By the time we got back down Canyon, the number of people that were here was shocking. Still couldn't stop the fire. Let's use that community resilience, strength to be able to work together, get through what the next several months.
Thank you, Chief. I also just received notice that there is apparently some issues with our stream. So for anybody who's getting an interrupted stream, we are recording this meeting and it will be available later for viewing. All right, next I'd like to bring up our Taro Pacina as one of our agency administrators.
Everybody, we thank you for coming out here tonight. Carl Pacina, I'm the Inyo Forest White Mountain District Ranger, Federal Type 3 Agency Administrator for this incident, also the retired Inyo Forest Interagency Fire Management Officer, and a fire behavior analyst on an interagency incident management. On behalf of Inyo National Forest, Gil M. Bishop Field Office, CAL FIRE Type 3 organization and team, and San Bernardino Inyo Mono unit, local government cooperators and partners, our deepest thoughts and hearts are with you here through this incident. And a fire of this size and complexity obviously has long-lasting impact. We've got a lot of local resources that have responded. Your federal, state, and local government partners will be here as we move through all phases. We're, as stated, working in unified command between Inyo Forest, CAL FIRE, Bureau of Land Management, Bishop Field Office, and Mono County Sheriff's Office, and the efforts of more than 600 plus firefighters from across California that are assigned to this incident. Working tirelessly with personnel from all over to try to get this under control as quickly as possible and mop up operations. In addition to the federal and state resources who answered the initial attack call, we would like to deeply thank the incredible efforts of the local resources, in particular Valley, Vining, Mammoth Lakes, Wheeler Crest, Bishop, and any number of Inyo and Mono County responders that came. We're all in this together. Their efforts were all critical in the response. And wildland fires know no jurisdiction, no jurisdiction boundaries, and neither should we. In the Eastern Sierra, we rely very heavily on our interagency communication, especially in fire and emergency, all risk, all hazard response. The McGee fire started, as many of you know, late on the evening of November 12th. The pack fire was reported around 11 a.m. on November 13th. At this time, we're treating both fires as two separate incidents. We know that folks are very hungry for more information, understandably. The cause of both incidents are still under investigation. We've got multiple investigators working on it. And just for awareness, you may have heard there will be a forest closure order effective tomorrow for public and firefighter safety in the area proximate to the fire on the federal side of the ground. In addition to bringing firefighting activities into the area, we're concerned about the potential for debris flows during events. We really thank the community for your patience and for your understanding, and while we work to fully extinguish.
Thank you, Taro. Next, I'd like to bring up the Mono County Sheriff, Ingrid Braun.
Oh, stop. Ingrid Braun, Mono County Sheriff. I want to start by thanking all of you for supporting and caring for one another. We went door to door, and it wasn't just us. It was CHP, it was Mammoth Police Department, it was Bishop PD, Forest Service Law Enforcement, it was Inyo County Sheriff. Everybody that could come up and help us go door to door, because that's the best way to get everybody out, was here to help. But the word spread that the community faster than we could drive and sound our sirens. You all took care of each other. And I love and appreciate you all for that. It's heartwarming, and continue to care for each other as we go through this. There's a long road to recovery ahead. From the sheriff's office perspective, it was our job to get you out, to spread the word, take the 911 calls. Our dispatchers, the second responders, sort of, they don't get to see everything, but they get to hear everything. And so it's really hard on them to try to imagine what's really going on. So hold them in your hearts too. One of our correctional deputies and our correctional deputies are also dispatchers, lost her home in this fire. So it touches all of us. As we move forward, our job is to support everybody else doing their job. We all work together on this. So Forest Service is taking the investigation lead. If you have any information on this, or if you think that there's something weird that you know, please share that. You can share that with us. We'll share it with them, or share it directly with Forest Service. to keep that information flowing. So we'd like to know how, if you have information as to how this fire started or something that you saw or think, nothing too weird, we'll take it. We want to have closure for us on this, and how the fire started and how it ended brings that. So we'll be taking questions later, but just thank you all for caring for one another.
Thank you, Ingrid. Next, I'd like to bring up one of our incident commanders, Brian Etheridge, with the Bureau of Land Management.
Good evening. I'm just going to briefly introduce myself. Lots been said. My name's Brian Etheridge, Battalion Chief at the Bureau of Land Management, one of the Unified Incident Commander trainees.
Next, I'd like to bring up from the Inyo National Forest, Jason Wingard.
Good evening. Jason Wingard. I work for the United States Forest Service up here for the Inyo National Forest. I work out of the Mammoth Lakes Ranger District. I was here as the initial attack incident commander once this fire first started. And then from there, I transitioned into one of the unified incident commanders with the PAC incident management. So with that, I do want to thank our cooperators with their quick actions. The way that this fire moved, the critical rates of spreads, our number one priority was life. So we wanted to evacuate, to get people out as fast as possible. From our federal law enforcement, Mono County Sheriff, Mammoth Lakes Police Department, CHP, just as the sheriff said, it was everybody on deck that could come here and help out. And we got people evacuated out of their homes as fast as possible. Also with the response from our cooperators, especially Long Valley, Mammoth Lakes Fire, June Lake Fire, Wheeler Crest, Long Valley, just everyone came together and did what we can and kept the public safe. So with that, I'll be here for questions.
Thank you, Jason. And my final presenter, I'd like to bring up CAL FIRE Chief Todd Hopkins.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Todd Hopkins. I am the incident commander for it's the Riverside County All Hazard Incident Management Team. And I'll just explain what that is real quick and explain what the Unified Command is. So we are a management team that has specialty positions on our team. And what we do is we go around and manage all risk incidents, whether it's a fire, flood, earthquake. We go around, and what we do is we help take the fire away from the units so that they can go back and do their normal 911 calls and keep the community safe. So we came in with a 42-person team, and then what we do, what it means unified, is we want everybody to have a voice that is one of the agencies that are up here. So that's unified means that the Forest Service, PLM, ourselves, the sheriffs, who are all the unified ICs, have an equal say on what goes on the fire and how we're going to dictate this incident forward with getting back to normal. Fortunately, when an incident management team shows up, many of the members that are on the incident management team, we are also on other larger incident management teams for the state. So we were at the Palisades. So you have an incident commander from the Palisades, you have an incident commander fire from all the different large fires. And what I can tell you is that our empathy and our sympathy go out for all of you. It doesn't matter if it was 30 houses here that burned down or the 6,000 houses that burned down in the Palisades. We look at it the same way, treat every incident the same. So our hearts go out to all of you. Very sorry for those that did lose their homes. I hope that by us being here and helping you get to a little bit back to normalcy a little bit faster, that's what we're here. So I want to thank the community for had nothing but nice things said to us and thanking us for being here. So we want to thank you for having us here, allowing us to come and work and serve you. Also, I guess the last thing, and I'll wrap this up. It's amazing that this was a wind-driven fire, no different than Palisades or the fire. What was going? It wasn't Santa Ana winds, but still, it was a front that came through, pushing a fire. You had no lives lost. So that's an amazing job by your firefighters, your volunteer firefighters, your career firefighters, and your law enforcement, and also for you of getting out of the way when you knew something was. So thank you for following the evacuation orders, the evacuation warnings, and thank you to all the the volunteer staff, both law enforcement and the firefighters for doing what they did before, we got here. I can tell you that they worked their butts off and they had a hell of a firefight that they were. So please support them. I know that there's going to be some frustrations tonight, but I can tell you that everybody is doing their best job to get you back to your homes. And then if you did lose your home, get you going down that right road to recovery so you can start over again. So thank you for allowing us to be here.
Thank you for that, Chief. Excuse me. All right, so that concludes our formal presentation. But before we move to the Q&A, we had kind of an audible. We have Barry Beck in the audience, Mono County Assessor, who has calamity forms for anybody who might need them. Chief talked about that road to getting back to some form of normalcy, and Barry can help you with that process. So thank you for that, Barry. All right, we've collected the questions that we have, and we're going to go through them. I'm going to read them out loud, and then I'm going to bring the appropriate subject matter expert up here to answer it. And so, Ingrid, this first question is going to go to you. It says the EVAC notice website is not understandable. Needs to use community names and be linked.
So that's sort of me, but I think that's also Emergency Management Director Chris McCrossick. It used to be me, but in transitioning and making this a full-time job for the county, a lesson that we learned a long time ago. This is going to be more than him, but I do understand that sometimes the website can be wonky, and the Genesis thing, we went from Code Red to Genesis, and there's a transition involved, and I'll let Chris explain that.
All right, thank you. Emergency alerts, and when we send out an emergency alert through your phones, your telephone, your text message, should work 100% of the time, every time you do it. Unfortunately, the federal system and the way it's set up definitely has some holes, and they're working to improve the system. We sent out an alert as soon as we received notification from dispatch that evacuation notice was required. I sent out the alert, pushed the button, and it's not just the button on my desk that I hit. We have to enter everything. I need to contact our sheltering staff, say, where are we sending everybody? Are they going to Mammoth? Are they going to Bishop? What are we going to do? So there's a few minutes where we're trying to figure that out before we issue the alerts. It uses electricity and it uses cell towers. So that when that alert goes over the cell tower, one of the hiccups in the system is you may be a Verizon user and the cell tower is an AT&T. It may not send it to your phone, and vice versa. So there's a lot of holes in the system that we're trying to improve, and I'm working with FEMA to improve that. I've spent a lot of time in the last couple of weeks working to make sure that our system works as far as when we push it out, it's going to go out correctly. But once it goes out into the airwaves, we're not really sure what's going to happen, especially when you had a fire that was impacting power lines and, it's all electrical that's going out. So things can happen. But we want it to work 100% of the time. We'll continue to work to improve it. I still recommend, or you need to sign up for emergency alerts through the Ready Mono site. If you had Code Red in the past, you need to go in, sign up for emergency alerts through the Genesis program. and get that information in there so that you'll make sure that you'll get the alerts when you need. So that's what's really important to us right now. We'll continue pushing out that messaging through the year. Let people know how to do it and try to clear up the confusion with the site and just make it easier to use when you need it. You don't need in an emergency to look at something that's causing confusion. So we definitely need that. And we
All right, so the next question to you, Chris, is what is the usual timeline on a cleanup?
by sometime probably by mid-December, you'll have a very good timeline. You're not going to have to wait that long. We're going to have the local assistance center open on Friday, but you should start to get information on what you can do now, or at least once you're allowed back to your home or to your, where the home was, so we can work on that. There's hazardous materials when a structure burns down. We want to make sure you're safe and healthy when you're operating around that material. We have the ability to provide you with safety gear to operate around that, but we need to have environmental health go in and just check everything. Start to clean the site. So safety is the number one priority, but that type of mission is going to happen this week. So.
The next question, do we have an idea when the insurance inspectors will have access?
We're starting to, tomorrow we'll probably adjust the evacuation areas, give a little bit more free access to certain areas. It's important for you to reach out to your insurance carrier, not wait for them to come out. Because you need to find out what your coverage is. It's been very difficult in this area and all over Mono County in the last few years, just keeping your insurance. So we also want to, we're going to be working with the state to find other programs and things that are available to assist you if you did lose your insurance and you did not have coverage. So we're going to be able to provide assistance on Friday as well.
All right, was code red used to notify Sunny Slopes? We were not contacted.
Code Red is no longer being utilized by the county, but when we went from Code Red to the Genesis program, we migrated all of the Code Red data over into Genesis. So we captured all that. So it's not like you didn't, you weren't on our program when it was sent out. When I sent out the alert, it was based on what the responders told dispatch, and then dispatch said, this is what needs to evacuate. And then I drew a polygon shape around the area, hit the alert button. So if you were, out of range of a cell tower or something, and again, it's those little holes in the system where you might not have gotten an alert on your phone. We also send alerts out via text message and email, and also your home landline if you still have one. So that went out as well. But again, I know that it's not 100% like it should be, and we'll continue to work with the feds to improve that system.
I could add a nice redundancy to code to the Genesis to the WIA alerts is Watch Duty. If you have the app Watch Duty on your phone, they're really up to date. They follow every event, every fire in the state. You can click on it and it pushes out alerts, and you can set it to push out alerts. So that is a nice redundancy to have in case you don't get the alert from Genesis or the WIA alert or anything like that. You will probably still get the Watch Duty alert, and it's pretty spot on. Yeah. And the problem with they pull, those are the divisions that they pull from Genesis. And those were named by Genesis in conjunction with the county. And lots of counties use Genesis. So they have prefixes that make sense to Genesis and they kind of make sense to us, but they're not going to make sense to everybody. I get it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of our formal presentation, but I want to say this to you. None of us will leave until your questions have been answered. So if you still have some questions that you didn't want to write down on a card or you didn't want to ask, come find one of us. Green Pants, Blue Pants, CAL FIRE, Forest Service, we will be here to answer your questions till the very end. So thank you very much for. Go ahead real quick, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate that. Like I said, we will be here to answer your questions. So thank you very much for coming, and we'll be here to answer all your questions. Thank you, folks.